I filmed a couple of these videos before, informal discussions of the latest car news, what I think is interesting and cool, my opinions about it, and I'm going to try to get back into doing them maybe once a week. I'm going to pick my favorite couple of things to talk about. This week there are two of them. The first one literally just happened today, the launch of the brand new 2019 BMW 3 Series, and coincidentally, my daily driver for today is a BMW 3 Series, an F80 M3 competition pack. So I believe it was the 2018 Paris Motor Show that just happened. Today, BMW launched, it's called the G20. That is the chassis code for the latest 3 Series. It'll be a 2019 model year car. And it's pretty important because, I mean, the 3 Series has been one of the staples of the BMW brand. It's an enthusiast vehicles. I think their best-selling car, or it has been one of their best-selling vehicles ever. And it's a really competitive market space now. They kind of defined it by making small luxury sedans fun to drive. If you think about an E46 330 or a E90 335 or something like that, those were great, affordable luxury compact sports sedans. A lot of people think they have lost their way a little bit with like this generation, the F80. It has gotten very heavy, very big. The steering and everything isn't quite as good, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm in an M3, so it's kind of the most extreme version, so I like it. It's a lot of fun. It is a very large vehicle, but the regular F80 M3, or the regular F80 3 Series was, so BMW had a lot of things to fulfill with this car. Kind of the rundown of the highlight facts that I can remember right now based on the things I saw. Powertrains are pretty much staying the same. There's going to be a 330 and a M340i. The 330 has a 4-cylinder that's increased in horsepower slightly and actually a lot more in torque. It's like 255 mid 200s and like 289 high 200s pound-feet of torque. The 6-cylinder also has moderate increases too. It's mid 300s horsepower, that level there. 0 to 60 for the 330 X-Drive is like 5.3, non-X-Drive rear-wheel drive is 5.6. The M340i is supposed to be somewhere in the 4-second range. So performance is supposedly better, highlighted by, I think, some of the main things you really want to know is they have lightened the car. They've decreased the weight of the vehicle. Supposedly, comparably equipped vehicles from the F80 generation to the G20 generation, 121 pounds lighter, right around 120 pounds. And that's a good amount, despite the fact that the car did get bigger. It's longer, slightly taller, wider overall, and it's inevitable. They're getting larger and larger, slightly improved interior space. All the technology is going to be there. I mean, it's like, I think they made a lot of stuff standard in terms of like cameras and lane keep assist and this and that. Something that I don't know, this M3 doesn't have blind spot warning. I don't know if regular 3 Series come with blind spot warning. I'm assuming they probably do. So that's some random tech thing. On the interior, they did update with some of the newer screens and things like that. The F80 generation is aging. It's not the best anymore. It was all right when it came out. I thought it was fine. I still think it's okay right now. But the problem is, if you go hop in, when Mercedes launched a new C-Class, and you hop in one of those, you're like, whoa, this is literally a baby S-Class. It's so nice on the inside. It makes the 3 Series on the inside feel and then when Audi just updated the A4 with their newest setup with the virtual cockpit and everything, it also makes the 3 Series look not so good on the inside. The G20 2019 3 Series has helped. They're really gone to the big giant touchscreen, display screen type of stuff. A lot of the styling cues kind of reminds me of making it a baby 7 Series. That's kind of what they do. They try to emulate the upper echelon of their luxury line, make it as premium as possible without costing that much too. On the exterior styling, I think the new 3 Series looks good, actually. There are some complaints and some concerns have been voiced that I saw in comments, and that was my first reaction. It's a little busy in the front. I actually don't like one of the styling packages where they got like these little like T styling things, like below the headlights, like where the daytime running lights would be, or fog lights. It's got this little T-shaped thing. The bumper there's a lot of creases, a lot of different ins and outs. They made the grille slightly larger. They changed like the headlight shape. LED is standard. You can option laser lights, like from the i8. That's where they first launched, in the BMW i8. You get laser high beam headlights on the 3 Series now. The rear, I think it looks good. They've followed the rest of the family styling in done the taillights kind of like the 8 Series looks like now. It's their new design language, at least for the rear end. It is big now. I think overall looks good. I am very excited to see what the M3 is going to look like, because I personally think the updates look good. We were having a discussion in one of my group chats earlier today about how my friend Mike thinks the Germans no longer do much in terms of styling and changing. They're very conservative. They just do very small, subtle changes. They all look boring. They all look the same. He thinks to casual people, they won't be able to tell the difference between an F80 generation car and a G20. And I do agree that's right. I personally think within the generation they look too similar. Like a C-Class and an S-Class and an E-Class all look way too the same. A new 5 Series and a 7 Series look very, very similar. But yeah, the quote was, normal people who aren't car people can't tell the difference between Honda and Hyundai, which I also think is accurate. But styling-wise, it's still true to the BMW 3 Series look. A lot of little design cues are still there. Overall, I think it looks good. It's a little more aggressive. And supposedly the way it drives is greatly improved. They were really, really, really going on about that, because it's been a point of not contention. It's been a point of criticism that BMW has received, that they've lost their way with the 3 Series. It's no longer the ultimate driving machine anymore. So to that, they lightened the weight. They did a lot of suspension changes, the camber. There's more camber in the front wheels. There is no manual transmission option. So on the line of making the car better to drive and more fun and involved, they killed the manual completely. Supposedly, in Europe, worldwide, these smaller powertrains that we do not get here, the smaller engines with less horsepower, will get manuals, but nothing in America so far. It's all a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. No idea what the M3 is going to be. Maybe the M3 might come with a manual, but the supposed planned plug-in hybrid 330e, the regular 330i, and the M340 that we're going to get do not offer a manual transmission, which kind of sucks. Less and less cars are coming with manual transmissions, but that being said, I'm driving a dual-clutch M3 right now, and I don't really have any complaints. It's a great transmission, and the 8-speed ZF is also a good transmission. But they also made changes to the all-wheel drive system with how quickly it can move torque between the front rear wheels. They updated the transfer case. Supposedly it's 25% stiffer. It's got these fancy new dampers that both improve the handling in terms of like body roll, controlling that, and also improve the way the car rides. So supposedly, I mean, it's a lighter car. They made all these changes to them. Hopefully that adds up to be a much better driving vehicle. I am excited. I never really thought about getting a 3 Series per se. I chose my Audi S4 over an equivalent E90 335i. But after spending time with this M3, I like it a lot. I personally, I mean, it is an M3. Who could not like an M3? They're great cars. But so that's a new G20 330 3 Series in general. The second piece of car news I wanted to talk about that has been really bugging me for a while. It came out a while ago, so I guess I'm kind of behind the times, but I want to talk about it, especially because I just bought an R8. There apparently is going to be a V6 R8 coming, which I don't like. There have been test mules spotted of the R8 going around of these mid-cycle refresh, changes to the bumper, to the grille, the rear exhaust shape, the rear bumper area. So it's a minor refresh. It happens. They always do that. They did it on a previous gen R8. I've got a first gen. They did a light recycle with the new lights and stuff. And supposedly they're going to put a 2.9-liter V6 in it. It's shared with the Panamera with Porsche. It's also found in the RS4 and RS5. It's different from the turbocharged V6 in the new S4. That is a 3-liter V6, which is a single twin-scroll turbo. The other engine is a 2.9-liter V6 with twin turbos. So those are different engines. The 500 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, probably. Cost is the big reason. They're going to make it a more affordable car, but I think it's going to be almost too inexpensive. I'll talk a little more about the money in a second, because I've got a lot of things to say about R8 values. So supposedly they're going to put that 2.9-liter twin turbocharged V6 in the R8, which I don't like. I kind of wish they would stay to the V10, which I think right now is fine. They've got the V10 regular one that's like $160,000, and then the V10 Plus, which is Huracan level of calibration and everything and horsepower, which is close, pretty much makes no difference, $200,000. Because the R8 isn't aspirational. It's a supercar. It's a halo vehicle. So the reason why they're doing it, supposedly, I keep saying supposedly. I guess all of this is kind of like speculation, so supposedly is a proper word for it. China taxes in a lot of other European countries and Asian countries tax based on displacement of the engine. Smaller engine means less taxes, cheaper, more affordable. Hell, you can't even use all that horsepower in some of these countries where you're just stuck in gridlock your entire life. So fuel efficiency with the V6, instead of going for like the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 or doing some sort of V8. I mean, there's precedence for a smaller engine R8. It launched with the V8. But going to a V6, for some reason, I've got a mental block with the R8 getting a V6. There's plenty of very, very capable supercars with V6s and flat sixes. I mean, all the Porsches are monsters. I don't hate 6-cylinder engines. That's not at all. I just, for some reason, don't really like the idea of the R8 getting a 6-cylinder engine. Look at GTRs, the Ford GT. 6-cylinders can do plenty of... I'm in a 6-cylinder right now. But the value... So the RWS rear-wheel drive R8 V10 already was one of the most affordable ones out there. I don't remember the exact starting price. Maybe around 140? No, maybe it's more than that. Let's just say 150. If you put a V6 in it, it's gotta be lower than that. So let's just say it's 120, 130. Let's just say it's $125,000 brand new R8. I personally look at the used market and be like, what the hell is going on right now? It's at a weird point. First generation V10s look like they're stabilizing around the 80 to 100-ish mark. I got mine for right around the range. Mine's a manual, so that's kind of... The manuals kind of have a different value. They behave differently from the paddle shifters. If you look for a refresh V10, those are at least 120 and up. I've seen some go for 120 to 140 still. A base non-plus R8 of the new generation starts at, like, let's just say 150, 160. They've come down to what, 140? I've seen some really good deals on those. Brand new V10 Pluses. I don't think I've seen any below 160 really. I mean, they're 180 to 200. You drop 20, 30 grand within 1 to 2 years. The point I'm trying to get at is the R8s have reached this weird, like, value point. They're like sandwich at a weird price because they've kind of bottomed out at the lower end and they aren't dropping anymore. You don't see R8s selling for 40 grand right now. 50 grand. V8s are coming down. The V8s are kind of different. I'm talking the top tier of the point. But I think adding a V6 one is going to do really funky things to the value. It's going to be like, what do I buy now if you want an R8? If it comes, it comes. If not, from the camo shots of the camouflage cars, I don't really like the styling changes they're doing to the bumpers. I don't think it looks cool. I think the current one just looks perfectly sharp and angular. But, I don't know. It's taken them a while. I don't know how much longer they're doing. I also heard rumors that the R8 wasn't selling great because if you look at a new Plus, 200 grand, you can get a Huracan for 200 grand for almost, like, there are Huracans for 200 grand with like less than 10,000 miles, I think. So that I think that's maybe a problem. Overall, if it happens, it's inevitable. That's the direction everything goes. Do I wish it wasn't going to happen? Yes, I wish the R8 would stay V10 only, kind of run out that generation maybe. But those are the rumors that I've heard and I read about, and there are spy shots to support that. And oh well, I have my V10 manual R8, and that makes me very happy. Guess I could talk about a slight update to my cars. I mean, I still have the S4, I have the R8. Been driving this M3 around and liking it a lot. There will be videos about this M3 coming out soon. Trying to keep on top of posting videos. Going to try to target at least three a week. So I'll do one of these kind of the car news discussion things every week. Hopefully you guys like these. Comment below. I'd love to start a discussion. I always try to respond to comments. At least the ones when I first post the video. They kind of get fallen behind when there's older videos. Overall, though, things are going well. Hope you guys like this video. Comment below what you think about the new G23 series. Will it be a good luxury sports sedan again? What do you think about V6, turbocharged V6 going into the R8? Thanks for watching, guys.